Have you ever wanted a ridiculous and a bit insane and completely impractical princess dress just for the sake of having one? Because I have recently seen Marty's images, Marty from Scraps and Sequins that is, her images in regards to this dress that she made, and I was just like obsessed as soon as I saw it. And because it's wonderful Marty, she actually has created a pattern for this, and it should be live now, and I'll leave the link below. But basically we got chatting and I was like, hey, I want to make this. And funnily enough, yesterday I went and drove to Whoop Whoop to purchase $60 worth of fabric. Now this $60 was like for about 70 plus meters of fabric. It's less than $1 a meter, and I got all this fabric, and it's not great quality fabric. It's not something that I could use in like any of my cosplays that I ever plan on actually wearing to like compete in. However, it was less than $1 a meter, so of course I bought it. And in that I got this orange and this gold. And I do love a good orange, and there was 30 meters of this. This is half of it. So basically, when I was speaking to Marty last night and going, I've got all this fabric and I can make this dress, Jalea was also there, Jalea Ward, and we just started spitballing ideas, and we decided I'm gonna make a Princess Magikarp dress. So that's what I'm gonna do today. You know, King Candy's just over there in the corner going, hey, what about me? And I'm like, I don't care, I'm gonna make Princess Magikarp. It's a pretty straightforward design, which makes me so happy. So I think I'll be able to knock this out in a day, she says. We shall see. So I am going to be cutting out the skirt, and I'm gonna be like the skirt from like Marty's pattern. She explained what it is, so I think I'll be able to like figure that part out quite easily. The sleeves I am going to change slightly, same sort of style as Marty, but because I don't want to have to draft out those sleeve patterns from her pattern, I'm gonna just use what I've got and then kind of make it work. The only thing that I'm going to like grab from her pattern and then size up to me is the bodice, because that's the only part that is like actually fitted in this. Seriously, this design is so easy to do, and really all you need is fabric, like 10-11 meters of it, and a zip. So I'm going to do mine slightly different. Hers was all one fabric. I am going to do mine with the gold and the orange. Orange will be the majority of it, and then the gold will be like features. So let's get onto cutting, because of the fact that I want to try and get this done today, and it's a stormy day outside, so this brings me joy. Let's go!
G'day and welcome to the voiceover. Firstly, the skirt. The front panel is cut as a simple circle skirt. The back is also cut as a circle skirt, but it's cut with the back having a very long train. It is 2 times the length of my waist to the floor measurement. This was so big that yes, I had no option but to cut it out on the floor of my living room. Taffeta, although confused, was super supportive. And finally, I cut the bottom sleeves as a joined waterfall pleat. If you would like to see my video on waterfall pleats, I will link that below.
Alright, so I managed to get most of it all cut out. I've got the skirt over there, and then I've got like the sleeves and like the long under sleeves there as well, all cut out in the orange and the gold. So what I am doing now is I have printed off, thanks to the work of my darling husband, who actually understands how to use Illustrator, and we've printed the bodice pattern to scale. So I have taken in the sides by 1/2 inch on each side, because that way it should fit my body in accordance to what it was saying on the instructions. Yes, I read. But those are the 2 pieces, so it should be quite simple. There's a large dart here that needs to be taken in. I think what I am going to do is I am going to make it a little bit of a deeper V than Marty's original dress. But yeah, I think that's hitting me at a pretty nice place. I will cut it out and then from there what I will do is I'll just see what needs to be tweaking before I cut out the outer fabric, but then hopefully I'll be able to use the mock cup as the lining, because I'm just going to use this orange fabric anyway because I have so much of it. So that is what I'm doing now, and this is the only piece of Marty's pattern that I've printed out and I'm actually using. So yes, it's a really simple pattern to put together. I'm super excited, and it is not even 12 o'clock yet, so hopefully I can get this cut out before I have lunch. I'm so excited, guys. I'm flailing. Alright, so here we have the mock-up slash lining of the bodice. It is fitting quite nicely. It's not absolutely perfect, but you know what? It's absolutely fine for this project. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on and get the rest of the dress sewn together. Hey!
Off camera, I sewed up the side and back seams of the skirt and cut out and sewed again the bodice pattern for the main fabric, and then attach the lining and the outer fabric together. What I'm doing in this clip is working on the bottom of the sleeves, pinning the two colours together before I went ahead and sewed them together.
Alright, so what I'm doing now is I am just pinning the lower sleeve onto the top puff sleeve. It is looking so cute. I love these sleeves so much. I cannot wait to put them all in and just like be able to flounce in them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in, sew it all together, and then I'm going to have dinner, because afterwards I will be fresh and I will be able to make all of the massive amount of bias tape or bias binding that I need to make. So I've got all of this skirt that I'm going to do a thick bias binding to, which will also be around the waist, and then I'm going to have a small bias binding around the top of the neckline and also around the arm in between these two pieces of the sleeve. So I'm excited to get that done because I just think that will make it very pretty, but I want to have some dinner because it's 5:30 and I don't think I'm going to get this done today, which makes me sad, but I have tomorrow off work, so I can always finish it tomorrow. The sleeves are put together. Oh my gosh. So the first one that I sewed, I got around doing the top stitching and I realized that I'd sewn it inside out. So like this was hanging the right way and then this one was like seam on the outside. I was like, bugger. So I had to unpick it all and then repin it and then sew it again. But now I have two sleeves that open at the front and oh my gosh, yes. So I'm gonna stop there. It's now past 6 o'clock. I need to have some dinner because I'm like fading. So I'm gonna do that, then I'll work on the bias binding and hopefully I can get the bias binding at least all prepped so that I can sew it on tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna get this done tonight, which is a shame. I really wanted to try and get this done in one day because like Marty was like, I did mine in like one day, but I could have done mine in like half a day, and she is a machine herself. And I thought, oh well, if Marty can do it in half a day, then I can do it in a full day. No, that's okay, that's fine, but at least the sleeves are like ready to be attached to the bodice after I put the bias tape on. So I've now got it down to 3 pieces: skirt, bodice and sleeves. Yeah. It will look cool. It will look cool. I'm very excited for this one. Alright, so I have just had dinner. I have watched Loki and it was amazing. So now it's time to get back onto this. And what I have done is I have gone ahead and measured the circumference of this skirt and it's 9.3 meters. So now it's time to cut out a whole lot of bias binding. So I'm going to cut out a whole lot of like thick bias binding for the hem and hopefully like have some left over for the waistband. Sew that together, iron it, make it all pretty and everything, and then I will then work on the sleeve and also the bodice if I have enough energy tonight to do that. But I'd love to get like the skirt like prepped and ready to go, so let's crack on with it. Okay, so it's 11:30 at night. This dress has somewhat defeated me. I really wanted to get it done in a day, but I have it still in the 3 different pieces, but I've got the bottom hem on. The train is like pulling down there, but yes, it's looking pretty good. I'm not sure about the belt. That'll be like the last thing that I do. At the moment, it's not hanging right because of the fact that I've put it over King Candy's like skirt because I couldn't be bothered taking it off the mannequin. So it kind of is giving this kind of weird Victorian fancy dress vibe, like, interesting. But yes, tomorrow I will get it done. Tomorrow I need to work on the bias binding on the neckline and for the top of the sleeves. And then I will decide whether or not it needs the belt, and then I'll add the zipper, and then we're done. So yes, there's not a lot left of it, which I'm really happy about, but I can't push myself any further because I'm falling asleep and I've been sewing for about 14 hours now. And this is what I have to show for myself. Good night. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, welcome to day 2 of this project, and hopefully we're going to get it finished today. So I haven't done anything so far this morning, but what I will be doing is taking all of the dress mannequin so I can work on the bias binding kind of trim, I don't know, feature for the arms and also the neckline. So that's what we're going to do today first and foremost. Then I think I'll give everything a bit of a good press because I've noticed that the train, the bias binding on that, some places it's a little bit ripply, so hopefully with a good iron that will kind of sort itself out. It's also not the prettiest work I've ever done, but it will look good in photographs and 10 meters away. We're going with the theatre rule on this one. So after I do that, then what I'll need to do is attach the skirt to the bodice, have a bit of a look at it, see if it needs that belt in the center there. At the moment, I'm really loving it. Also, like, it's on this weird, like, with the King Candy underneath, it's just giving it such a, like, balloon shape, which I love, but also won't actually work with the length of the skirt. Oh well, such is life. Happy accident for photos. But yes, so that's what we're gonna do, and once I decide if it needs a belt or not, I will then just put in the zipper and then it's done. So hopefully this will not take me all day, she says, hopefully. We shall see.
I used some of the leftover bias binding from the night before and just cut it in half. Then made it into a new bias binding. Yes, so thrifty, because I clearly don't have ample amounts of this cheap fabric. I then sewed the bias binding to the neckline, which I did off camera because it was not exciting.
This is the moment where 3 pieces become 2 pieces as I attach the sleeves to the bodice. Sleeves on a bodice, woo! Now to attach it to the skirt.
And now we attach the skirt to the bodice. I'm so excited! Once again, please ignore the messy room, but I now have the skirt attached to the bodice, and yeah. This is insane. So I do think I need to unpick just this little section here and re-sew it because it is bunching slightly. I think I've caught it. But other than that, it's looking pretty alright. Not great, but that's okay. And so all I think I need to do now is the belt. Once I sewed it on together, I looked at myself and I was like, yeah, this is like way too much orange and it's just kind of like not doing me any favors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the belt, I think, and then put in the zip because at the moment it's just like pinned at the top. That's why it's really loose here. And then this will be done. But first, I think I'm going to have some lunch and probably do some food shopping. But yeah, almost there. Then I just added the fake belt, zipper, and did a press start at the back so that the belt went over the zipper. And with that, Princess Magikarp was done.
finished the photo shoot. It was super, super fun. Terry was an absolute champion as he like went over all the rocks. Thank you, sweetie. I love you. He's driving now. See?
Help me.
We got up at like 6:30 in the morning in winter to do this. We're tired and it's really cold. I want to say that this is definitely one of the craziest costumes I think that I've ever made. Just the fact that I made it in 2 days still blows my mind. I love the sleeves. Oh my god, the sleeves are my favorite part of this entire costume. And yeah, it was just a fun adventure. Honestly, it really was. So thank you so much for joining me. And also I want to give a special shout out to my amazing patrons. You guys are the absolute bomb. Thank you so much. Also, I do want to give a special shout out to my $10 a month tier patrons, who are
Justine Ghosty, Rogue Threads, Sepsoro Revealed, and Chelsea Colvin.
Thank you guys so much for your support. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me, I've done Jigglypuff and now I've done Magikarp. Who should I do next in some Psyduck apparently. Who do you think I should do next? Alright, stop it! See you later. Bye! I'm gonna be Gyarados! Woo!
No, it's still Magikarp. My wife, ladies and gents.